Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University's towering main building symbolizes the dreams and aspirations of its diverse student body. But the university is also firmly rooted in the communities from which it feeds. It prides itself in being an engaged institution.
We produce 27,000 skilled, highly committed graduates in the economy. That's already a first theatre of engagement. The second theatre are projects off campus that we typically do in various communities and public institutions, and indeed in the private sector for that matter, not only in the province but also nationally and sometimes on the African continent itself. It is through that second theatre where we spend a great deal of time and resources helping our students and our staff to make a visceral contribution to the development needs of society out there.
One of the university's units that is most active in the second theatre of engagement is the Community Development Unit.
We see the Community Development Unit as a platform through which we want our students and our scholars, our academics, to provide their critical knowledge and skills to make a difference to those communities grappling with particular problems. And the university doesn't come in as a big brother or sister, but as an equal partner. And in the pot of engagement, the university contributes knowledge as its contribution to the sets of solutions that we hope that the communities themselves must decide upon so that they become then masters of their own future.
We provide advice to community-based organizations, NGOs. We also assist communities in what we call asset-based community development, whereby we will go into a community, identify what the assets are, and then try and build on that and not go in with a negative approach whereby we look at what the needs are. We rather look at what is available and how we can take what is available further to the benefit of the community. The other aspect that we do as well is that we do community profiling. We'll go into a particular community and see what the profile of the community is, and then also look at the needs of the community. The other areas is that we do the social mobilization around the Pela Pepper train. We run HIV/AIDS workshops, and then also we try most instances to try and implement CSI projects that are brought to the university by the university's corporate partners who have specific ideas and specific areas in the social investment terrain that the unit can only respond to, that no other unit can respond to, because most of these projects are based at the marginalized communities.
The Community Development Unit boasts many success stories. Among these has been their involvement with Transnet's Pela Pepper train, which brings primary health care to remote parts of South Africa.
One of our big successes, I would say, would be with the Pela Pepper train, being given the flagship status by the Transnet Foundation because of how we do it and how successful we've been, and being appointed as the main trainer for all the other agents in South Africa. And then also our particular approach to Pela Pepper training, that we have what we call a social mobilization approach and not a social marketing approach, so that when the train leaves a particular area, certain legacy is left behind, because we go back into that community and we work with a coordinating committee that we worked with when the train was there. So there is always a legacy left behind.
As social mobilizers for the Pela Pepper Health Train, our work is to facilitate community change with the community members as the major role players, making them realize their potential and how they can actually reach out to other institutions within that community so they can bring about change towards any project that they might want to have in the community, ranging from public health to food security, awareness about diseases, nutrition. So when we started the Pela Pepper, we were basically just social marketers. Our job was just to get water and toilets and make sure there's electricity and make sure that patients come. But with the Transnet new vision of leaving a legacy behind, we have moved past being that to make sure that whatever we do within a community, there's a legacy that stays, so that when we leave, we don't have to wait for another 2 years again for the Global Health Train to arrive and the community to get involved in taking responsibility for their own health. So what we are basically are the people that enable a community to see their potential and the assets that they have within them, and bring certain role players that you could never think of into the fray to make sure that whatever you're trying to achieve within that community is a great success. For instance, we now involve Department of Correctional Services in our work because they have parolees. So the parolees come, they volunteer, for instance, with cleaning of the station. And then we ensure that when we get volunteers that are stipended, they get a chance to work. So they have a chance for social reintegration. Now they can put on the CV that I was with the Pillar Paper Health Train, and they see their potential as people can actually change their lives and those around them.
Among the many highlights of the CDU's work with the Pillar Paper Train has been their impact on the Idutwa community.
In the history of the Pillow Paper seeing patients, we saw the highest number of patients seen in a week. That was a record that was set 18 years ago. But what makes that a success is not the statistics themselves, but the fact that the planning and the organizing for the trains coming was done by ordinary women in the community. The norm is that they have to wait for the councillor, they have to wait for the chief, they have to wait for the headman to say we're going to do this. But now they saw that they can actually change their lives and the lives of those around them.
The other area is the establishment of community health committees in the metro. We established 42 health committees, of which, from what I've gathered, it's the only metro in the country who have successfully established these health committees.
A rural project that has seen broad-based community development has been the CDU's capacity building program in the Sterkspruit community in the remote northern reaches of the Eastern Cape. This 7-year project, funded by De Beers, gave rise to the Masikule Community Development Organization, which facilitated the establishment of vegetable gardens, creches, health and HIV/AIDS projects, sewing projects, as well as sex education initiatives.
Insebenzisano yethu no CDU no NMMU ibinhle kakhulu kangangento yoba igalelo kalenzileyo kwa kwi-project zifumene into okubana mazibe nezikills ezandleni zazo kangangoba zinazo necertificate izakhono zokuranisha iorganization zazo. Kwayona iNMU isebenze kakhulu kuba kwa elinqanaba esikulo ngoku njengomasikhule ukuba bekengekho NMMU ngaba akhange sibe sifikelele.
You can call it a success, and I'll tell you why. Even if some of the measurements, people will say, but this is not good enough. In the end, to me, if you can look at the people and you know that for the dignity of the people, even if it's 3 or 4 of them, they've become human beings and they're proud about themselves, it was a success.
The NMMU's Community Development Unit not only engages with communities, but also enables them through partnerships and capacity building programs. It helps communities to help themselves. Should your company wish to engage with the NMMU's Community Development Unit to fund programs which leave legacies, please contact the Centre for Engagement and Collaboration.